Good morning, and welcome to the 10th quatrain, the 10th praise to Tada. Let's dig in. Homage to you, radiant and joyful, whose crown emits a garland of light. You, by the laughter of Tutare, conquer demons and lords of the world. First line. Homage to you, radiant and joyful. In every religion, you're going to find basically two types of people, two types of enthusiastic people. You're going to find enthusiastic fundamentalists and enthusiastic liberals. That we see that in the West, in Judaism and Christianity and Islam, and we see it in the East with Hinduism and Buddhism and Taoism. I was a fundamentalist in this life before I was a liberal. So I speak not from theory, but from actual experience. And I tell you, it's far too easy for my fundamentalist brothers and sisters to get lost in crankiness and yuckiness. There are many Buddhists who sincerely believe the only way to cultivate renunciation is to truly hate this world and see it as torment. What a dreadful way to live. There was a Kadampa, a Geshe, and Geshe is a Tibetan word whose equivalent could be, I guess, Doctor of Divinity or PhD. And who was known as the grim-faced Geshe. And when confronted about why he'd never smile, he'd explain, well, how can one smile in the midst of all this suffering and with impermanence looming overhead and the threat of eternal damnation? Ah, thanks a lot, sunshine. I feel wonderful. So, that type of attitude, that doom and gloom, is not unique to Christianity or Judaism or Islam. Is found in the fundamentalist sects of every religion, of every spiritual system. Well, I'm considered, good old Lama Jigme is considered a controversial teacher, sometimes because of things I've actually done and said, and other times because of things I've been rumored to have done and said. No, it's much more satisfying. If one is going to be hated, it is much more satisfying to be hated for what one has actually done and said, rather than what one is rumored to have done and said. But that is neither here nor there. So here's the deal. One of the things that people look at me and say, well, clearly he can't be a high bodhisattva. He's too damn happy. He should be aggressive and cranky and judgmental like us, for truly then we'd welcome into the fold of cranky bastards. I don't want to be a member of the fold of cranky bastards. I want to be happy. I want to be a happy camper. I'm reminded of the old man in the Monty Python movie Holy Grail, who was dumped by his son into the cart for the dead. And this guy going through town saying, bring out your dead. And so the young man brings out his aging father and throws him in the pile of corpses. And the old man says, I'm not dead. To which his son replies, shut up, old man, you soon will be. And so the cartmaster and the son got into a discussion of whether they should add the old man to the pile of dead people now, or wait till he's been dead 3 or 4 days and truly stinking up the house till the cart comes back again next week. The true comedy of the vignette is not in the discussion between the cartmaster and the son, but in the words of the father is trying to express the fact that he's not planning to die anytime soon. And at one point he's all, I feel happy. I want to be like that old bastard. I want to be happy. Not just in a feigned, superficial, paint-on-a-smile sort of way, but in a spontaneous, playful, innocently mischievous way. And so I take heart when I look at the first line that says, and we're describing Green Tade as radiant and joyful. I think it's in the book of Exodus, in the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, that it talks about when Moses came down from meeting with God on Mount Sinai. He was so radiant, he was so glorious, it actually hurt people's eyes to see his face. And so he actually had to wear a veil. Now, I'm not sure if that's literal or hyperbole or figurative or metaphoric. All I know is that's pretty damn radiant. I like that idea. And here's the cool thing. How do we accomplish Green Tade? By applying her teachings and receiving her blessings. We have to be careful whose teachings and who we apply and whose blessings we receive. If we receive the instructions and the blessings of a very grim-faced fellow, we too could be quite the cranky bastard. I don't know about you, but to me, that's not a good time. I don't know how long my life will be. I don't know if there are multiple lives, although I fancy the idea. So I want my life to be as meaningful and as joyful and as love-filled as possible. How about you? Second line, whose crown emits a garland of light. Not only is Tara radiant, not only is her face radiant, but the top of her head is radiant. Whether this is referring to the psychic center at the top of her head or the actual ornament she wears, is neat. And we can look at it. There's many ways to look at it. One of the ways I choose to look at it is this way. There's low energy and there's high energy. For instance, some people, we'll call them energy vampires, choose to see the worst in people. They deny them the benefit of the doubt, and they make accusations that are just so dark. You know, for instance, I was once, a neighbor was complaining about a sore back, and I offered to give her a psychic healing treatment. She said, "Oh, you're just offering because you're bored." No, darling, I'm not bored. I'm offering because I have a low threshold for your suffering. She chose to look at me from a dim view, when the truth was a lot higher than that. Now, energy vampires typically do that because they want you to be defensive, and they really thrive off that defensive energy. I love that Green Tade is the opposite of that energy vampire. She does not think the worst of you and shove you into a defensive posture where you have to rail against, you have to defend yourself against her railing accusations. The opposite. She gives us the benefit of doubt, and that's beautiful. Green Tade is the opposite of an energy vampire. Her energy is high, and it lifts us up. It helps us to tune into our best self, to the person that our dogs and cats already know that we are. Third line, you by the laughter of Tutade. I love that. Once again, now this is not snide, mocking, deriding, cruel laughter. This is pure-hearted, joyful, loving, spontaneous, uncontrived laughter. The joy that utterly transforms us. Fourth line, conquer demons and lords of the world. Demon could be a literal, scary creature. It could be a hyperbole for someone very powerful and cruel. Lords of the world are just, people who definitely have power, and they have money, and they have natural charisma, and they can exert all kinds of influence on us and the world around us. and she conquers them. That doesn't mean she bends them over and gives them a spanking. What that does mean is she liberates us from their tyranny, so they're no longer the boss of us. And I love that song by the group They May Be Giants, You're Not the Boss of Me Now. Love that song. But don't worry, I won't torture you by singing it for you. So right now I'm going to chant this quatrain for you using the book and chant. Homage to you, radiant and joyful, whose crown emits a garland of light. You by thy laughter up to Tade, conquer demons and lords of the world. I thank you for your time and your kind attention. If you haven't done so already, remember to subscribe to these videos. And of course, remember to click the like button, I think it's right there, and click the share button so that you can share with your friends on Twitter and Facebook. And of course, you're welcome to not only register, but actually join us for the next series of weekly webinars. Until next we speak, may you and yours be happy and healthy. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha.